Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Quintopia N-Scale review. Today we'll be taking a look at, well, for the first time, I'll be taking a look at a train from the United Kingdom. Everything else I've done up to this point has been either continental or Japanese, and this will be the first UK-based train that I'll be taking a look at and reviewing, and it is, as of this moment, the only UK rolling stock or train I have, so it's a little bit of a novelty for me, but I love it and I think it's fantastic, and somehow I have to figure out how it fits in with the rest of the theme of my layout, and I'll continue to compromise and figure out how to do that, but it's a great looking train. So what is it? Well, what we're looking at today is the Class 150-1 DMU, diesel multiple unit, from Graham Farish, which is actually produced by Bachmann. I believe they, if I have my history right, Bachmann purchased Graham Farish about 10 or 12 years ago. And yeah, it's a DMU, so there's no pantographs. It can run anywhere in my layout without looking awkward, without catenary under it. It is model number, what's it say there, 371326. Also apparently called a Centro, or at least this version is. Maybe it's because of the central lines. That's just what I figured. I don't know for sure. As you can tell, the packaging is a little bit different than what we see from most manufacturers for single or two-car units. It comes in a cardboard sleeve, and this is standard practice for Graham Farish. And I actually think it's standard practice for Dapol as well, the other big N-scale manufacturer of trains. Let's take it out and see what it looks like. So you slide the cardboard sleeve off, and you have two jewel cases with the trains in it, protected or padded against each other by this little strip of foam. Set that aside. Inside the cardboard container are some instructions for how to install the decoder, which is fairly straightforward, as well as the exploded view of all the different pieces and parts that are included with this. So we'll put that away. We're not going to be reading that right now. Of course, your warranty or consumer guarantee, and that's what's in the box. The actual trains come in, as I said, these jewel boxes. I'm a big fan of jewel boxes. Let's take it out. Just a very convenient, practical form of storing our trains, and one of the advantages we have in N-scale. This is also neat because this box also has a fortune cookie in it. Well, not a fortune cookie, but a fortune. So let's see what our fortune is today. So what's that say? Warning, sharp metal details. Please handle with care. This model is fitted with wire aerials. So what that means is be very careful. It has lots of detail parts. So that's a good fortune to have. It's actually better than some of them I've ever had. So we've got one car out. The car I removed already. This is the dummy car. There's no motor in this one, so we'll set that aside. We'll take out the motor. And these are nice. They have a nice design of the plastic sheet here that protects it. Just kind of lift it out and it pops out easily. No problem there. Now, I was talking about that little fortune cookie, and I was being somewhat sarcastic. I've actually already damaged one of these, sadly, because of my clumsiness. But there is a lot of detail on this, which I'll show you in a moment. Which prevented that, which I actually broke off while I was installing the decoder or something. So that's what it looks like. Let's take a closer look at the detail on this thing, and I'll give you my idea of what I think about it. Now, in terms of the detailing and the graphics and the decals or decals applied to this thing, I have to say, for my money, I think this train set's pretty outstanding. This is an outstanding example of, I think, the state of the art that can be done with plastic molded mass production N-scale trains today. And just the printing, the detail, the cast in, all the different pieces that are called out in color, frankly, it's just fantastic, and I'm really impressed. Now, I was a little bit somewhat surprised because the general tone on some of the UK or English message boards about their rolling stock available from Graham Farish and Dapol tends to be fairly critical. And I think maybe it was justified at one point, but in terms of, whoops, that's not going to be in focus. Really quite sharp, beautifully done. And as you can see, one of the features I really like are these little, the extra attention paid to calling out the detail underneath in the undercarriage section for the air hoses and brake lines and all the different tanks and doodads that hang underneath a DMU locomotive. Really fantastic. Well done job on the detailing here from Graham Farish by Bachmann. Again, I always sort of chuckle when I think about Bachmann and detail and quality, because historically, at least in my youth when I had a Bachmann, that definitely was not the perception anybody, at least I never had a Bachmann. And so I'm very impressed with what they're doing, not only here with Graham Farish, but if you've seen my review of the Lilliput by Bachmann, Flirt EMU, equally impressed as well with the detail. And I have to say that the values really seems to be very good. I believe I paid about £80 for this, which is not bad considering it's two and detailed and DCC ready and reversing lights and all of that. It's fantastic. The other great thing about this DMU is, of course, and kind of a standard these days, are the dual mode lights, or I guess red lights on the rear when it's going forward, and the lights switch over to be white on the other side. So here's an example of what I'm talking about. As you can see, hopefully you can see it here, that the red lights on this locomotive or the DMU are set up so that trailing it'll show up red. Now if I flip it around to go reverse direction, get that nice white light, which is perfect, and another nice feature, quality feature that you come to expect, but it looks great. So all in all, I'm very pleased with this Class 150 DMU, and if this is any indication of what other UK prototype N-gauge models are like these days, I will certainly be looking at adding more, because I think they really do a fine job and it's a beautiful looking model. So how are we going to rate this one? How do we gauge this one? Well, let's get out the scorecard and take a look. Here we go, the familiar scorecard. Well, in terms of, back it up a little bit there, in terms of appearance, as you can tell, I'm very impressed. The detail, the printing, the decals, everything looks outstanding. Frankly, far better than it should be for N-scale, or N-gauge, because it's impossible for my eyes to even read some of that fine printing. So it's going to get a 5 for me on that. In terms of performance, haven't run it a lot, but so far it's a very smooth, quiet locomotive with absolutely no issues. Over the long haul, well, as John Maynard Keynes said, in the long run we're all dead, but I'm going to give it a 5 because I think they did just such a fantastic job with it, and it's just nice. Conversion is fairly simple, and it should be fairly easy with a 6-pin NEM 651 plug. So again, another hats off to Bachmann for making this a very easy locomotive or a train set to convert to DCC. And by the way, it's also fitted out with space so that you could add a speaker for a sound decoder too. So they were thinking ahead when they did this and thinking about how much certain modelers like to add sound to their trains. In terms of cost, look, nothing's free in this world and nothing's cheap, and quality's never going to come cheap. But I think in terms of value, I'm really pleased with it. And I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it, and I don't remember seeing a sticker on the box. But I remember, and I feel this way, that compared to a lot of the other N-gauge locomotives and rolling stock I've bought, I feel like this one is very high value. So it's got a really great score, 20. which is out of 4. I'm not going to give it any bonus points. I don't think there's really anything here that's fantastically outstanding or different, but what they did really well. So an average score of 5, which is really excellent job. And again, I think it states again how much improved the Bachmann product line is these days, and they're certainly convinced me, and I'm a believer now in Bachmann's quality. It's certainly up there with the best of, for example, a Minitrix or a Fleischmann. In some cases, maybe even better, considering the cost. And so I'm all in favor of it. Thumbs up from Bachmann, and I'm convinced, and I'm sold. So that's the review. So really good score, a 5. Stand by in this video for some shots of this DMU running around my layout. And thank you for watching as always. Please feel free to leave a comment, subscribe obviously, and visit my blog as well if you'd like to see more information on my layout, how I built this layout, mistakes I've made with this layout, and so forth. So anyway, thanks for watching and enjoy your trains. Goodbye.